Is he 2023 Breakout Fighter of the Year for Eternal MMA? And we got him here.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your main event.
Live from HBF Stadium Festival Hall. Melbourne Pavilion.
Not even backstage, we're literally outside.
Was that the best fight card in Australian MMA history?
Call me crazy, but make sure you call me when I'm right.
Be good if the Aussie MMA Instagram page would give us a bit of glow up because we're killing
Welcome
it.
to the Australian MMA podcast. My name is Mitch Tinley. Today's guest is Tasar Malone. Now, a real up-and-coming fighter, a 3-0 as a pro. Like I mentioned, the 2023 Eternal MMA Breakout Fighter of the Year. So it's a pretty big accomplishment for Eternal MMA, which puts, 10, 11, 12 shows a year, has so many fighters, so much talent. And to pick Tasar Malone as the guy that really broke through in 2023. Now, he looks like a tough, wild guy, but he's actually really quite spiritual and then quite centered and grounded, if you will. Nice young man. He really wants to sort of realize this dream. We chat about some very interesting things. He lived in his van to sort of prolong his dream, very similar to that of Jared Wilbraham, of which he mentions in our chat. He takes on Jesse Medina, who is a 30-fight veteran. His previous opponents just debutants, good debutants, but still debutants, where his fourth fight, Tasar is taking on a man that has been around for years and years, perhaps a decade in Australian MMA. Jesse Medina, absolute stud. So if you can get through him, Jesus, the sky is the limit. We even talk about Tasar's little run-in with UFC star Jack Jenkins. Find out a little bit more about that, and what he'd be doing if he wasn't in mixed martial arts, and kind of where we can see him. It's a really, really nice chat, so stick around if you want to sort of become a fan of the gentleman and then watch him. September 14th, Eternal MMA 88 against Jesse Medina at featherweight. It'll be on UFC of Fight Pass. Ladies and gentlemen, first PRP Global, and then on the other side, Tasar Malone.
Fuel the fight with Australian-made MMA-inspired streetwear and support the next generation of MMA superstars. Delivering unprecedented support to the Aussie MMA scene, support PRP Global on their journey. 100% of profits go to the fighters. Check PRP Global out today.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining me on the show, one of the most hopped up prospects in Australian MMA, Tasar Malone. Welcome.
Thank you, Mitch. Appreciate it, brother. Thank you for having me.
First off, I mean, Tasar, surely your parents were like, this guy's going to be a sick cunt.
I've got some pretty cool parents, man. So yeah, and I guess it comes with the heritage and with the name.
Yeah, I've always wanted to commentate one of your fights where you're the underdog, so then I can be like, what a shock upset by Tasar. I could just really work those. I passed it on to Tanira and that, so I hope one day that we can get
Yeah, man, encourage it. They might try and use it or think of one of their own.
Mate, you've had a bit of an interesting start to your career. Obviously, the amateurs, like you went like 3 in a row, and then at some point you went, I'm going to go pro, and then you're like, all right, I'm switching on now, and you're undefeated, 3-0. What is it you kind of attribute that to? Were you kind of just taking heaps of chances as an amateur, or did you sort of change something up when you went pro? Like what was the process?
I think the amateurs was a perfect platform to have all of my learning curves. So I wanted to be super active throughout the amateur career, and I keep that same mindset for the professional one as well that I'm in now. But yeah, I just wanted to constantly show up, take fights, get all my experience in there. I started off, really, really hot on I think it was a 4-fight win streak. And then I followed that up with a 3-fight loss streak. So, I got to experience it all. I got submitted and I got finished with that, and then a couple decision ones as well. And they taught me a lot about myself, and they taught me a lot about what areas I needed and wanted to work on. And after I went and spent some time doing all of that and building myself and working on my weaknesses, I then turned them into my strengths, and then felt ready to go take on all the pros, and started that. and I've just been flying 3-0 now, coming into my 4th professional fight, and I'm going to keep that undefeated record going.
And what was one of your biggest weaknesses?
I think early on it was a lot of my wrestling and grappling. I think that I sort of only relied on just throwing quite wild and stuff. If you look back at my early fights, I mean, I sometimes, look back and have a bit of a laugh and whatnot, but it's all a journey. Any amateurs out there, you're not going to look amazing from the get go. But yeah, I think I was just throwing real wild and sporadic and had not much technique. And then I hadn't really done a lot of wrestling or grappling as well in the early days. So I think that was a big weakness of mine.
I was going to say, do you think it's from getting tired from climbing up over the cage into the cage?
Nah, never, brother. I don't get tired.
Where did that?
Tired. That's why they call me.
Where did that come from?
That's why they call me the machine. Man, from being a young kid, man, we were climbing trees, climbing everything, fences, trees, cars, or you name it. Like we grew up with a big family with some property, so it was always about exploring and doing things differently.
When did you start climbing into the cage?
I've only done it once so far, and it just felt right. I was standing there, I was looking at it, and there was like a voice in my head saying, like, you're gonna enter this octagon differently.
Oh, okay. Are you gonna keep it?
I don't know.
Yeah,
do
it. Do it. It's sick. It's like your thing.
We'll see.
It feels like one of those, like, if you were in the UFC game, like that's like the animation that everyone knows is like, oh, I want the climb the cage into it. Mate, it's awesome. Like I said, you're off to a great start in your professional career. But your last 3 opponents, they're all debutants. They had no fights. And then you went, okay, guys, how about I take on a guy with some experience? And then you took on a guy with all the experience. He's got 30 fights, Jesse Medina. I mean, how do you go from fighting some dudes that, just on debut to now one of the most sort of decorated veterans in the sport?
Look, I'm super excited for this one. First off, I want to say that the 3 dudes that I fought as debutants and whatnot were no slouches. Mason Obatu, that he's a very accomplished striker. I think he was something to do with him in the Taekwondo and representing the country or something like that. And
plus Ethan Mitchell as well. Amazing.
Yeah, Ethan Mitchell coming out of Strong Gym. I believe that he's been doing martial arts, since he was a young kid as well. And then the Tom Pratt, super classy, sharp striker. 3 dudes that are very great athletes and fighters and whatnot. But yeah, I showed that I'm the one and I can beat them. And now going to the other end of the spectrum, as you said, with Jesse Medina having 10 times my professional experience. I've only had 3, and he's in the 30s or 30 something fights, which I have a lot of respect for him in regards to being a name in the scene for a long time, and he's fought the who's who. But yeah, I'm super excited, super keen to get this one done and show that I'm going places.
Is there a plan for your pro career, or are you just like literally fighting who they put in front of you and it just so happens to be a 30-fight veteran?
I've always had something. I guess it's confidence in myself, but I'll always say yes to anyone. So we got the name. We'd also looked at other potential fights a bit earlier on, and it didn't quite line up and whatnot. But this one did, in regard to the timing stuff. And yeah, the name, super stoked that it's someone that's a veteran in the sport and has so much experience. So it's going to be a cracker fight. Like, yeah, he's no slouch either. He's crafty fella. So looking forward to this one.
Yeah, he's definitely one of those fighters where, and it's more of like a compliment being like a quote unquote gatekeeper, because in the sense of he's going, if you can hang with me, you can kind of hang with anyone. And I feel like that's like a real good test. It's hard when you fight, Nabetsu's great. Ethan Mitchell is probably one of the most highly touted 0-1 guys out there type thing, but it's like not too many people know. They maybe look at the record type thing. But when you go against a Medina, if you can hang with Medina, you can hang with anyone.
Yeah, and yeah, it's exactly what I want to and will do. Although I don't know if hanging with him will be the words, but yeah.
Hanging him. There you go. There you go. Like, where do you feel that you currently sort of sit? I mean, do you care about rankings? Do you watch other guys in the division?
I watch, I guess, like when there's other featherweights fighting on different cards and stuff, I might tune into them just to sort of see where they're at and whatnot. But yeah, I've got a lot of confidence in myself and my team and the people that are with me, and we know where we're going and where we're at, and yeah, it's pretty exciting for what's in store.
You obviously talked about the skid you had as an amateur, and I'm just looking at like the record now. If you look at your final 6 fights, I think you're 2-4 in your last amateur fights. At what point do you go? Because I feel like a lot of people like to be like 10-0 as an amateur, 9-2 before they go pro. You kind of, like you said, you started relatively strong and then unfortunately had a few skids along the way. How did you know you were ready to go pro?
Sort of what I touched on before with like experiencing those losses, man. 3 back to back, you kind of question yourself and ask yourself, like, is this what you want to do? It's a tough sport. You got to sacrifice a lot. And I really had to dig deep and ask myself those questions and find, my why and what I, where I wanted to go with this. And then I reminded myself of who I am and found that belief and know that, I can hang with the best and become one of the best and stuff. And it's just all about putting in the work and showing up. And it's just a matter of time. And so I just went right back to it, started getting to work. And then, yeah, like went and got one or two more wins and stuff. And then felt like I was ready. Just wanted to fully commit myself and put myself in the deep end because I love the sink or swim mentality.
What is your why? Why do you do this?
I'm a competitor and no ego, but I love to win. And my why is to make sure that I'm proud of myself for pushing myself to my limits and fulfilling a passion and showing other people that they can too go and achieve their dreams. My why is a 5-year-old boy, I wanted to become a professional athlete and a great one at that. And so I remind myself back then of those beliefs and those dreams that I had. And now, yeah, being 28 years old, and I've gone and done that. And now I'm going to fulfill that great part, become great. So that's my why.
Does the family support, like what's the sort of kind of, were they always happy that you were going to be fighting in a cage?
Yeah, at the start, I think that they were a bit like, what is this? Why are you doing this? Kind of thing. I think mum always, as most mums would, they never want to see their son or their kid get hurt and whatnot. But yeah, I have a massive support system around me, which I am truly grateful for. I feel very lucky and fortunate to have so many incredible people around me and helping me on this journey because it's such a tough one. Like you have to give a lot, but I think it also goes to show that it reflects a bit of my nature. I love to give back to others. I love to care and help others, and pass on my knowledge and stuff to say like the young kids that I help coach and things like that. So I feel like if you're doing those things, they come around full circle, and other people want to jump on board and help you in times and stuff. Whereas if you're going around, one man army and you know, I can do everything on my own, you're not going to go very far, and not many people are going to want to be around you and stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah. And if you weren't doing mixed martial arts, what would you be doing?
uh, well, originally when I wanted to become a professional athlete, it was in the dreams of following like Harry Kuehl, the soccer player's
Mm.
footsteps. But then that didn't quite work out, and then I thought that I was going to be the next Gary Ablett in the AFL, and I was getting close there, but that didn't work out. And then so yeah, now it's fighting, and I think if when fighting finishes, or if it's not that, I'll definitely turn to something else. I always want to be challenging myself and growing and learning new things and leveling up.
Could you ever work in an office one day?
I've tried, man. I think when I was like 17 or 18, I lasted 2 weeks doing telemarketing, and
Ah, really?
yeah, it just was not for me. I couldn't even do like the wear the button up shirts and stuff
Ah.
without feeling uncomfortable.
What we selling?
I think it was like holiday packages or something.
I just, I just imagine being you like, hey, do you like holidays? Yeah. Just like, did you have a whole script and everything? Like a whole,
Yeah, there was a
uh,
few things like
uh,
that. Yeah.
uh,
I mean, I'm
it's,
very much the person that's like barefoot and shirt off sort of thing, so it just didn't suit my character.
yeah, no, I feel yeah. Even when I was like a glassy, like picking up glasses at like a bar, I
Yep.
remember like every second I was like, one day you're not gonna be doing this, like you're gonna be doing what you love. And I was like, and you're gonna think back to this moment. And there's like a distinct moment I remember putting like a rack of dishes in like the dishwasher at the bar, and I was like, just one day, man, one day I'm never coming back. You know,
Yeah.
it was like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Man, and you've done it. Congratulations, brother. You know, that's the cherry on the cake is like you've had those moments where you knew that what you were doing wasn't for you, and then you've gone and put in the action and the work and created the life that you want.
Oh, it's just it's amazing to have like guys like yourself. Like obviously, like I just love it. Like I love watching you fight, and I love especially you, and I love the stories, man. Like I love the reason behind why people fight. Because like ever, like trust me, like anyone can watch you fight and be impressed, right? But if you're just
Mm.
like a regular guy, you don't see the intricate details of like the slick underhook you just got, and oh, you got into butterfly. Like no one sees that shit. But
Yeah,
like the regular person goes like, "Who's Tasar Malone and why should I care?" You know what I mean? And I feel
yeah.
like that's the thing is like, and how many times have you had to explain to people like it's not just two dudes punching on in a cage, like it's a whole martial art, it's a whole story of it all. And there's like you
Whole
said,
journey.
there's people that are like you know really sort of at one with their self, and then there's some people that are in MMA because if they weren't they'd be in jail, and they're like it's just such a mix of people, and you would have met some wild personalities throughout your time.
Yeah. I think you know, there's always going to be in most areas of life like a big variety of different people. But yeah, the thing that's interesting is like everyone's reason for why they do it. As you sort of touched on, you know, some people are battling things, some people do it as an outlet, some people are wanting to, you know, do it as a self defense or protect themselves, or, you know, there's tons and tons of different reasons, but it's all about I think it's all about a journey, you know, of growth and leveling up and constantly learning. It's never ending, man. And that's the thing that I was attracted to martial arts
have
for, you know.
have you ever been like an angry kid at all? Like did you get in any trouble?
I was an angry kid, but I was often in trouble. But it was more so because I just liked doing things differently, or like didn't like all the rules. You know, like you got to stand up straight and pull your socks up and have your shirt tucked in. And I was like, nah, man, I want my shirt out and socks down and shoes off, or like,
Yeah.
so I don't know, things like that. Like I
Like
was always
climbing
sort of,
like climbing into a cage when there's a perfectly good door
yeah.
there.
I've always been a bit cheeky, so I think I like it though. It keeps things exciting and interesting.
How did it feel to kind of pick up? Was it the Breakthrough Fighter of the Year for Eternal? Was that the award?
Yeah, it was 2023 Breakthrough Fighter of the Year.
How'd that feel?
Yeah, felt amazing, still does. And it was a bit of a like I remember that it was just like a normal night or something or afternoon, and then my phone started blowing up, and I was like, what's going on? And I picked it up and then saw it, and that sort of moment was I got a bit, I don't know if the word's emotional, but I got a bit like fulfilled and super proud of myself, because it was a little token of like all the sacrifices that I've made, and from like sleeping and living in the gym and then like out of a car and things like that, that have all been a part of my journey and a part of my chapter to put myself in this position and achieve those awards. It was a moment where I sort of sat back for a sec and was like, yeah, like I deserve this and I'm proud of this and I'm grateful. And, it's just a one moment, and, we continue on. But yeah, I was very happy about that. And
So did you just gloss
who
over
knows,
that
we might be able to.
you used to sleep in the
Sorry.
car?
Yeah. I lived out of my.
What do you mean?
I lived out of my van by choice, for almost a year.
To train.
Yeah, so that I could spend my money instead of on like bills and rent and electricity and all stuff like that. That I could spend it on training and giving myself more time on the mat and whatnot.
Wow. And obviously you don't regret that one bit.
Not one bit, no.
That's crazy. Like a little
No.
Jarrett Wilbraham. Look at you guys. You guys just both living in vans. Are you living in a van now?
I'm pretty sure. Nah, I'm not that anymore. I've coming from you in a room.
Yeah, I was like, how'd you get in that room? No, yeah.
I actually spoke to Jared. I think it was like probably would have been last year or something, and I like asked him a couple questions. I think when I went down to freestyle, and I was like, so how are you running your like water, in your van? Because I was doing it pretty like, man, my setup was like bare minimal basic as, and I was there's always you can go pretty extreme in setups and stuff, but I was like asking him a couple questions because I knew that he did it. Yeah.
Did you learn anything from him about the van?
Maybe just like a few little like tricks that I think he was like saying that he was like hanging up his fruit and stuff like that rather than like storing it in a bowl, like hanging it just from inside or whatever. And I was like, oh, that's clever. Like, like your little mesh sacks or something.
Interesting.
Just like storage ways and things like that.
Yeah. Okay, that's pretty cool. And what point made you go sick of living in a van? I want 4 walls and a roof.
It wasn't me being sick of it. I was lucky enough to cross paths with a beautiful woman. And
I see you. You snuck your way in. You don't even love her. You just want a place to stay. I'm onto you.
I don't like to.
I was gonna say, do you miss it? Are you ever like, I'm out of here, and instead of sleeping on the couch, you go and sleep in your van?
Nah. Everything's going amazing and great. There is always that part of me, even post fight, like where I want to sort of get out and go camping. So whether I sort of, take the van in that sort of thing, or I love just like sort of connecting and spending a bit of time in nature. And obviously when we're in camp, where we've got to be at the gym so much and put in so much time training and recovering and back-to-back sessions and whatnot. But then, post-fight I might spend a bit of time and go away for a couple of days.
With your Eternal MMA Breakthrough Fighter of the Year, did you get a physical trophy?
I don't think so.
Well, I give trophies, mate. I give actual trophies.
True. Well, mate.
Hey,
I
had to give it to Harry Webb. You can't blame me. He's balling.
What do I need to do to get the one for this year?
Oof. What do you have to do? I reckon there's still time to get. I reckon if you knock out Medina and then there's a card at the end of the year, I reckon you get a title shot. I reckon if you get Seb, I'll give you fight of the year.
Yeah, I definitely want that belt for sure. So that's what I'm chasing. I feel like I always focus on one at a time, what's in front of me. But I've wanted that featherweight title for a long time. Even when Jack Jenkins had it back in the day,
Oof.
and I was an amateur, there was a bit of chit chat between us one time at the weigh-in. So that's a little sneaky.
What happened?
Bit of insight there for you.
What happened?
I honestly don't even know really where it started. It had something to do with some person online, some fight fan had said something, and then he started saying something, and I'm not about all that stuff, but I'll call someone out or whatnot if they're saying it or if I hear it. So yeah, and then it was just a couple words, and I just sort of said to him I'll have that belt very soon, and he's gone on to the UFC, so good on him. But yeah, me still getting that belt very soon is definitely happening. So
So there's if you ran into Jack Jenkins on the street, is it hey, how are you, or is it a bit of watch it?
it would be.
You guys think I'm coming in and I'm gonna stir shit up with the guy you're fighting? Nah, you didn't think you were gonna be coming on here and all of a sudden going back and forth with Jack Jenkins again.
I've heard that you love to stir the pot.
Never.
But no, as I said before, I'm not the type of person to dip down to calling names or any of that sort of jazz. But I'll let my actions speak for my words. Words don't cook rice, so people can run their mouth and say whatever they want, but I'll back things up. So I make sure my actions do all the talking. And I'm a true martial artist. I don't bother with all the fluffing about and whatnot. But yeah.
Did you say words don't cook rice?
Words don't cook rice.
Where'd you hear that?
That was a wise man told me that.
Words don't cook rice. I've never heard that before.
One of my old martial arts coaches.
Yeah, I like it. Well, mate, speaking of heading on this journey, you got Jesse Medina in front of you. What can we expect September 14th?
Yeah, as I said, I'm super excited for this fight. Great name, as I said before. He's for the who's who and a lot of people in the scene. I think it's going to be a very high level fight from the both of us, and yeah, I'm prepared to do whatever it takes to get the job done. So keep your eyes fixed and peeled on that fight. It's going to be an absolute cracker. Tune in. Watch Tasar Malone, the machine on.
Are you a prediction man?
I have my own, but I don't like sharing them, to be honest.
Oh, you got to put it out in the universe, bro. Yeah. That's how it happens.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Manifesting. Yeah. I'll tell you this, that I'm gonna finish him.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
I like it. All right, mate, before I do let you go, after it's all said and done, how does Tasar Malone want to be remembered in mixed martial arts?
I want to be remembered as a true martial artist. I have always looked up to and looked at GSP, George St. Pierre, just for being a great person, a great role model, someone that the kids and the younger generations and even adults can look up to and draw inspiration from, and go follow in their own, dreams and goals and stuff. And so that's how I always want to carry myself and what I want to be and do, and show that people can go and do whatever they want in life and achieve their wildest dreams, and I also want to back it up with my skills as well. He was a very great athlete and martial artist, so I want to constantly be pursuing to grow my skills and get better and better and do the same.
Awesome, mate. Well, just to recap for everyone, you You lived in a van. You are going to climb into the cage. You don't like Jack Jenkins, and you want to be remembered as GSP.
Hey, these are your words, not mine. But
No, Jack is you and Jack actually would really get along. He's actually a really nice guy. I feel like you guys would you'd do well. I'll hook it up. I'll hook it up one day. You guys can train together. See, I'm not always stirring pots. Sometimes
yeah,
let it simmer.
nice.
Yeah, and then I'd say,
maybe we might meet each other in the UFC.
Yeah, hey, man, you keep this up, it'll be a very, very quick journey for you, mate. Thank you for taking the time. Best of luck September 14th, and we'll chat again soon.
Appreciate it, Mitch. Thank you, brother.
Awesome, mate.
Have a good day.
Enjoy the free house.